No, I don't think so. There is a sort of rule in the stock market I've concocted myself, which is that if a stock yields more than 10%, it doesn't, because it probably won't pay its dividend. We found that out with stocks like Woodside, who got their payout ratio a few years ago and then ended up cutting their dividend. But we're seeing the yield on the whole market at the moment just shy of 5%. The yield gap now favours equities by about 2.5%, which we haven't seen since the GFC, which again suggests that we're at a sentiment point rather than necessarily a scary point, because from there the market bounced in the GFC. So we're at a reasonably extreme level. What is concerning is that people aren't buying the banks. They aren't buying Telstra. They aren't interested, it seems, in yield, which suggests there is a level of disbelief about the dividends. There is a big scare factor, and the biggest fear factor is that banks are sitting on loans to energy companies which are going to damage them. We've now got people distracting us with fear about the Australian property market, which I think is misplaced. And also, when it comes to Australian banks, you've got the energy exposure of CBA was 1.7% of its loans to resources companies, 0.8% of its loans to energy companies. It's really largely immaterial to them, but that doesn't stop people selling them. I think what is going on, though, as well, is that international institutions, because of the China factor, they only came over here for the resources boom. They're still exiting, and that's why Telstra, the banks, and the big resources are all getting sold down without really any discrimination. And that's probably the problem we've got. If we were to see the commodity prices bottom, the China story improve, the currency go up, international investors would come back, and the value that is in the banks, appears to be in the banks, at the moment would be gobbled up, and the share prices would rapidly rise. I think the point is there is value there if the numbers are believable. I think they're believable.